Stay here. This moment did not reach you by coincidence. Out of countless signals moving through space and time, out of infinite possibilities unfolding every second, these words arrived in your awareness now because something in you was ready to recognize them, not to analyze them, not to question them, but to feel that the timing is precise. Before the mind looks for reasons, a deeper intelligence already knows when alignment is present. And alignment always feels familiar, even when it cannot be explained. Not everyone will remain with these words. Many will scroll past, feel distracted, or lose interest without realizing that anything meaningful was available to them. That is natural. This message is not designed for everyone. It is designed for those who feel a quiet certainty rather than excitement, a subtle pull rather than urgency. If you are still listening, it means your system recognizes coherence before logic interferes. And that recognition is rare. There is an intelligence moving through reality that does not persuade, convince, or demand attention. It does not shout. It does not chase. It simply aligns. When alignment is present, moments arrive with precision. Encounters feel inevitable. Nothing needs to be forced or proven. This is not a message of hope, because hope still waits for something to happen. This is a message of recognition. You are not here to be convinced of anything. You are here to remember something you already knew, even if life made you forget for a while. A state where things flow without resistance, where effort is no longer required to move forward, where timing feels natural instead of stressful. When something resonates at this level, it quietly invites a small act of coherence. Liking this video or choosing to stay connected to this space is not about supporting content or following a channel. It is a symbolic decision, a way of telling your subconscious, this matters enough to continue. What you consciously choose to stay connected to continues working on you in the background, shaping perception, attention, and expectation. This choice may seem simple, but it is not neutral. Reality responds to decisions made from inner clarity, not from external pressure. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where a deeper intelligence can reach you without resistance. This moment is not asking for belief, effort, or understanding. It is asking only for presence, and presence is enough to allow the next movement to reveal itself naturally. This is not the end of something, it is the beginning of a different state, and from this state, everything unfolds differently. Most people were taught directly or indirectly that life responds to effort, that if you push harder, think more, try longer, something must eventually change. This belief feels logical, reasonable, and familiar. And yet, it is precisely this logic that keeps many people stuck. The mind was trained to solve, control, and predict. It believes that movement creates results, that tension produces progress, and that constant effort is proof of commitment. But there is a deeper order that does not respond to pressure. It responds to state. When you act from urgency, the system signals lack. When you act from struggle, the system reinforces resistance. And when you wait anxiously, time seems to stretch instead of cooperate. This is not punishment, it is feedback. Reality does not argue with you, it mirrors you. This is where the familiar logic begins to dissolve. Because what if effort is not the cause of change, but the symptom of misalignment? What if the very act of forcing is what delays the natural rearrangement of events? There is an intelligence beneath conscious thought that organizes outcomes long before the mind understands them. This intelligence does not calculate, it calibrates. It responds not to what you want, but to what you are embodying. Trying harder often feels productive. but it keeps the nervous system activated, alert, and tense. In that state, perception narrows, options disappear, timing feels off, not because life is resisting you, but because your system is not receptive. The moment this is seen clearly, the logic that once felt solid begins to loosen. You realize that many of the things that arrived effortlessly in your life did not come through struggle. They came through moments of ease, clarity, or inner certainty. At the time, they may have seemed coincidental, but they were not. They were responses. The mind wants a method, a formula, a sequence. But the deeper intelligence does not work in steps. It works in coherence. When coherence is present, movement happens without friction. When it is absent, no amount of effort compensates. This is the paradox that breaks the old logic. You do not move life by pushing against it. You move life by aligning with the state it responds to, and that state is never anxious, rushed, or desperate. As this understanding settles, something subtle begins to shift. The need to force weakens. The habit of control softens, and a different kind of intelligence starts to lead. This is not about giving up or doing nothing. It is about stopping the interference that keeps outcomes at a distance. It is about allowing the system to reorganize itself without constant mental interruption. Once this logic breaks, there is no going back to the old way of trying, because you see clearly now, effort was never the key, state was, and from this realization, the next phase becomes possible. There is a kind of authority that does not need to announce itself. It does not argue, persuade, or explain. It is felt rather than heard, and when it is present, the system naturally follows. This authority does not come from knowledge alone. It comes from coherence, from alignment between thought, emotion, and state. When this alignment exists, there is no inner debate, no confusion, no need for constant reassurance. You may notice that when you trust someone deeply, it is rarely because of what they say, it is because of how grounded they feel. Their certainty does not create pressure, it creates safety. The same principle applies internally. Most people allow the mind to lead by default. The mind analyzes, anticipates, and protects. But it was never designed to command the entire system. When it tries to do so, tension increases and clarity decreases. There is a deeper layer within you that understands timing without calculation. It recognizes alignment without evidence. This layer does not rush, and it does not doubt. It simply knows when to move and when to remain still. This is the intelligence that must lead now. When this inner authority takes its place, effort becomes unnecessary. Decisions feel lighter. Direction becomes clearer. You stop questioning every step because you are no longer disconnected from the signal guiding you. This does not mean the mind disappears. It means it relaxes into its proper role. Instead of controlling, it supports. Instead of interfering, it observes. In this state, you are no longer trying to force outcomes. You are allowing outcomes to approach you naturally. The need to prove, defend, or justify fades. Certainty becomes quiet but stable. This is why real transformation often feels subtle at first. There is no dramatic event, no external confirmation, just a sense that something internal has shifted into place. And once this shift occurs, the system begins to reorganize around it. Your perception changes, opportunities become visible, timing improves, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you are no longer misaligned with it. Authority has returned to its rightful place. From here, the body can begin to relax. The nervous system no longer needs to stay alert. The constant scanning for threats or solutions can slow down. A different rhythm starts to emerge. This rhythm does not demand effort, it invites presence. And as you remain with this presence, the next phase unfolds naturally, without instruction, without struggle, without force. This is the foundation that makes deeper states possible. At this point, there is nothing you need to do differently. Simply continuing to listen is enough. Your system already understands that it is safe to slow down. As attention remains here, the body begins to respond naturally. Breathing becomes easier. Muscles release without instruction. The nervous system shifts out of constant alert and into a state where restoration becomes possible. This transition does not require effort. It happens automatically when the need to control softens. The mind does not need to solve anything right now. It does not need to plan, analyze, or anticipate. It can rest. And as it rests, a deeper layer of awareness becomes more accessible. This is not sleep yet. It is the space before sleep. The place where thoughts lose urgency and sensations become more prominent, where the body leads and the mind follows. In this state, perception widens. You are no longer focused on problems or outcomes. You are present with what is happening now. And presence is the signal that allows the system to recalibrate. The nervous system was designed to move between activation and rest. When it remains activated for too long, clarity diminishes. When it is allowed to settle, intelligence becomes available again. You may notice that as the body relaxes, the need to think decreases. Gaps appear between thoughts. These gaps are not empty, they are fertile. They are where reorganization begins. There is nothing you need to visualize, nothing you need to repeat forcefully. The system knows how to return to balance when it is not interrupted. This is why true change does not come from mental strain. It comes from allowing the body to enter coherence. When coherence is present, signals travel efficiently. Communication between systems improves. Resistance fades. In this receptive state, the subconscious becomes more active. It does not analyze, it integrates. It absorbs patterns and stabilizes them quietly. You do not need to guide this process. You do not need to monitor it. The more you allow it to happen on its own, the more effective it becomes. This is the condition where new patterns can be introduced without friction, not through force, but through repetition and consistency. As you remain here, a sense of neutrality may arise, calm without effort, stillness without boredom. This is not emptiness, it is readiness. From this state, deeper reprogramming becomes possible. The system is open, receptive, cooperative. Nothing is being pushed, nothing is being resisted, and because of that, the next phase can begin naturally. In this state of receptivity, the system no longer resists repetition, it understands it. Repetition is not used here to convince the mind, but to stabilize a new pattern beneath thought. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. Waiting implies distance. Waiting implies lack. That pattern begins to dissolve now. I am aligned with the movement of life. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. Nothing is wrong. These are not words to think about. They are signals the subconscious recognizes as orientation. The body responds to what is familiar, not to what is forced. As these signals repeat, familiarity replaces tension, safety replaces urgency, and coherence begins to stabilize. I do not need to force outcomes. I allow alignment to organize results. What is meant for me moves toward me naturally. The nervous system remains calm and receptive. In this state, perception widens. Opportunities are no longer filtered out by stress or anticipation. Timing improves because interference decreases. Each time this pattern repeats, it becomes easier for the system to return to it. This is how reprogramming works, not through intensity, but through consistency. My subconscious integrates what supports ease and dissolves what maintains strain. Old habits of effort release without struggle. New patterns of clarity establish themselves quietly. I'm not creating something new. I'm restoring what was always available. The intelligence that organizes life flows through me without obstruction. It does not need my supervision. It does not need my anxiety. It responds to coherence. As this loop continues, the mind stops interrupting. It learns that nothing needs to be fixed right now. Its role becomes secondary, observant, supportive. I trust the timing of my life. I trust the signals of my body. I trust the intelligence moving beneath conscious thought. This trust is not emotional, it is structural. It comes from alignment, not belief. Each night while I rest, this pattern strengthens. Each repetition makes it more familiar. Each familiar pattern becomes the new default. Effort is no longer the signal I send. Coherence is. And because of that, reality begins to respond differently, without urgency, without resistance, without delay. This loop does not end abruptly. It stabilizes, it settles, it becomes the background from which everything else emerges. From this foundation, change no longer feels dramatic, it feels natural. At this point, nothing needs to change in how you are listening. The state you are in does not require interruption. It supports gentle reinforcement. There are moments when a system naturally seeks continuity, not through pressure, but through recognition. When something aligns internally, the subconscious looks for ways to keep that alignment active. This is one of those moments. If a quiet certainty has been forming beneath your thoughts, you may feel an impulse to mark it, not dramatically, not emotionally, simply as a signal of decision. Some people choose to do this by leaving a brief statement below, not to explain themselves, not for others to read, but as a private declaration that the system registers clearly. Writing is not communication here, it is encoding. Others choose to anchor continuity by staying connected to this space, not out of habit, but out of alignment. Subscribing or remaining connected is not about consuming content. It is about maintaining exposure to a frequency that supports the state you are stabilizing now. Liking this video serves a similar function. It is a small, deliberate gesture that tells the subconscious, this matters enough to continue. Small actions performed in coherence are more powerful than large actions taken from pressure. None of this is required. Nothing here is demanded. The value comes only when the action matches the inner state. The subconscious responds strongly to moments where intention and behavior align. When that alignment occurs, integration accelerates. Patterns stabilize more quickly. Resistance weakens. What you choose to stay connected to quietly shapes perception, expectation, and focus. Over time, these shape experience. This is not influence from the outside. It is orientation from within. By choosing continuity now, you are not committing to an outcome. You are committing to a state, and states organize outcomes naturally, without force. This is why these gestures are placed here, after the system has softened, not before. They are meant to seal alignment, not interrupt it. There is no urgency, no instruction to do more, no pressure to decide quickly. The signal only has meaning if it feels calm and natural. If it does, allow it. If it does not, remain as you are. Either way, the process continues. The system understands clarity better than effort, and clarity is already present. You can let go now. There is nothing more you need to follow, track, or understand. The system has already received what it needs. From this point forward, effort is unnecessary. As the body moves closer to rest, the subconscious becomes the primary listener. It does not analyze meaning, it recognizes patterns. And the patterns introduced here continue integrating naturally while you sleep. You do not need to stay awake for this to work. In fact, the process deepens as conscious attention fades. Sleep is not interruption, sleep is access. While you rest, old programs dissolve without conflict. Patterns built around urgency, tension, and constant effort lose relevance. They are no longer reinforced, so they soften and release. At the same time, new coherence stabilizes. A calmer internal rhythm becomes familiar. Safety replaces anticipation. Trust replaces monitoring. The subconscious understands repetition as confirmation. Each cycle of rest strengthens this new baseline. Each night reinforces alignment without effort. Nothing dramatic needs to happen for this to be effective. Subtle changes are more sustainable. Quiet shifts reorganize systems more thoroughly than intense experiences. As this state settles, the future no longer feels distant. Timing feels closer, more cooperative. Not because you are pushing toward it, but because resistance has diminished. The door you have been waiting for does not open with noise or force. It opens quietly, in a way that feels natural when it happens. You recognize it not by surprise, but by familiarity. What is meant for you continues moving toward you while you rest. The intelligence organizing this movement does not sleep. It does not forget. It does not miss. You are supported more deeply than the mind can track. There is no need to rehearse outcomes, no need to visualize success. The system already knows how to restore balance when interference is removed. As sleep approaches, the body completes the integration. The nervous system remains calm. The subconscious continues its work uninterrupted. This process does not end when the sound fades. What you have allowed continues beyond this moment, shaping perception, timing, and response. You may notice changes gradually or suddenly. Both are valid. Both indicate alignment. For now, nothing is required of you. Rest, sleep deeply. Allow the intelligence beneath thought to complete what it has already begun. Everything is unfolding in the correct order.